What's up guys, my name's Chris and in today's video I'm going to be covering some of the awesome places that you can visit in the Riviera Maya. I have had the pleasure of traveling to this destination 3 times with my wife Carol. I will also be going over the costs of the attractions, food, accommodation and transport. So I'm going to start off in Cancun, which is where the majority of people will be arriving at the international airport. There we stayed at a place called Hotel Nader, which was $40 right in the center. To get around we rented a car. We used a company called National Car Rental, which was $30 with basic insurance, which is mandatory in Mexico. You can also get it cheaper if you rent longer. To beat the crowds, we drove 40 minutes up north to a spot called Isla Blanca. The entry fee is $5 for parking, and you can also use their facilities there, like the sunbeds. This is a unique spot because on one side you have a gigantic lagoon popular with kite surfers, and then on the other side you have the beautiful white sandy beach with the turquoise waters. South of Cancun, there is a beautiful place called Puerto Morelos. This is a fishing village that has no high-rise hotels. It's not very developed, but there's still many awesome places to eat and places to stay. And it has more of a laid-back vibe compared to many of the other places in this region. Further down south, there is a place called Punta Maroma. To enter this beach area, you'll need to go through one of the beach clubs. We went through El Dorado Maroma Beach Club, which is $10 for the day pass, and you can also use all their facilities. This was easily the most beautiful sand that we've seen in the entire Caribbean area. It was absolutely spotless. You won't see any sargassum or seaweed anywhere. And they even had some water bungalows, which we didn't know existed in this region. Now on to the islands. Across from Cancun, there is a beautiful island called Isla Mujeres. To get there, we use the Ultramar ferry. From Puerto Juarez, you can get a one-way ticket, which is $9 or a round trip for $18. You can leave from multiple beaches in the Cancun hotel zone, but it will cost you a few more dollars. On this island, we stayed at Posada Paso del Sol, which was $30 per night. The nicest beach for us on this island was Playa Norte, North Beach, which has probably the clearest water that we saw in the Mexican Caribbean. Another very popular island is Cozumel. To get there, you'll have to head to Playa del Carmen, and the ticket is $12 one way or a round trip for $24. You can get a round trip package for Cozumel and Isla Mujeres, which is $41, which is definitely beneficial if you're going to head to both islands, as you will save $8 because the regular round trip price would be $49. On Cozumel, we stayed at a hotel called Vista del Mar, which had a beautiful view of the ocean. This was $32 at the time with breakfast included, but that was in the low season. Currently, for around $40 to $60, you can get a regular place in the center of Cozumel. We rented a scooter for $25, which included full insurance, and we thought the road was great there. It's basically just one big looping road around the island, and you get beautiful coastal views all the way around. On the west coast, we visited Playa Palancar, which some of the locals told us was the most beautiful beach on the island. Here you'll find the same level of beaches that you expect in this region, with the pure white fine sand and the transparent water. On the east coast, we visited Playa Chen Rio, which probably wasn't as beautiful as Playa Palancar, but still a nice place to visit. The waves were a lot stronger, so it was a bit more difficult to swim, but there was still an area that had kind of natural pool protected by the rocks. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out. The last and our favorite island is Isla Holbox. To get there, you can get a bus from Cancun, which takes over 2 hours, and it's around $14. We used a ferry company called Nine Hermanos, and that was $10 one way. On Holbox, we stayed at Holbox, which was $25 during the low season. Current prices are showing around $30 in the high season. Holbox has a completely different vibe to the other islands because there's no real constructed roads. It's more like sandy roads. There's no cars either, only golf buggies, so it had more of an island vibe where you can walk around barefoot, but we like that. We rented a bicycle for the half day, which was $7.50. The main beach in the center is Playa Holbox, which is in walking distance if you're staying anywhere in the center, and that's a beautiful place to relax. It also has some hammocks and swings. We then got on our bikes and rode to a place called Playa Coco, which is a bit further from the center, and that's a beautiful shallow beach. We like that beach more than Playa Holbox, and it also features some hammocks, and this is also a spot that you can see some pink flamingos if you get lucky. Now on to Tulum, which is probably the most famous place on the entire coast. We've stayed there twice. The first time was near the Tulum ruins at a place called Jungle House, which was $21 a night. And the last time we stayed in the center at a place called Casa Lupita, which was $30 a night. If you're visiting this region, you're probably gonna want to visit some cenotes. A 6-minute taxi ride from the center is the popular Gran Cenote, which is $15 to enter. There the water is absolutely beautiful. If the sun's hitting, you'll get some amazing light rays. You'll be able to see some turtles, and there's also some caves that you can swim in. A lesser known cenote that we visited was Shunanha, which was $4.80 to enter. We've been there twice, and on both occasions it was pretty much empty. It's different to the Gran Cenote because it's more in a natural setting surrounded by trees and plants all around. And they even have a diving board, which was super fun. get around Tulum, we rented a bicycle, which was $7 for 24 hours. Some of the beaches that you can visit are Playa Paraíso, which is very popular because it has easy public access. And there is Tulum Beach, which is also a public beach but has no clear public access. But you can go through the beach clubs or hotels. Apparently they're not allowed to stop you from visiting the beach. It will just depend on the location and the person that you run into. This region features some absolutely incredible Mayan ruins. The closest one to Tulum is the Tulum ruins, which is $3.80 to enter, and I think it's the only ruins that are on the coast. It also has a nice beach that you can access below and lots of wildlife and animals to be seen, and you could easily spend a few hours there. Roughly 30 minutes away from Tulum are the Coba ruins. You can get there from the ADO terminal in Tulum, and that will cost you around $2.50. The entry to the Coba ruins is $3.60, and this is quite a big complex, so I recommend that you rent a bicycle, which will cost you $2.40 for unlimited time. And the good thing about Coba ruins is that the main ruin, you're able to walk to the top. A lot of the other ruins now, you're not able to walk on them anymore to protect them, and from the top you'll have amazing views of the landscape and canopy. Some other ruins that are very close to Tulum are the Muyil ruins. We got a Colectivo shared van from Tulum, which cost around $3.40, and that took around 18 minutes to get there. The entry fee is $2.40, but inside you might pay another $2.40 if you want to enter the mangrove area and get watchtower access, which I recommend. This place is great because you also have access to the Siangkan biosphere. From there is a kind of expensive boat tour, which is $50 per person, and the boat tour is around 2 hours. There you will enter 2 big freshwater lagoons and some man-made and natural Mayan canals, which were used for trading between different tribes at the time. And the highlight for us was when we used some life jackets as diapers and we floated down this river that had a really strong current, and you would float for around 40 minutes, and this was one of the best things that we did in the Riviera Maya. The majority of the towns along the coast are quite new, so you'll have to venture inland to find the beautiful colonial towns of the past. One of our favorite towns in Mexico is Valladolid, a beautiful, super colorful old colonial town. There we stayed at Casa Tortolita, which was $29 US, and it included 2 bicycles, which was great. I'd say the main attraction in Valladolid is just walking around the streets because the colors and the architecture is absolutely beautiful. You can visit a convent for around $2, which has a museum, and also the building looks really nice. The main square has an old church with many nice restaurants and hotels surrounding it, and that would be a great place to stay. In the middle of the town, there is a cenote called Zaki, which is $1.45 to enter and has an artificial waterfall, and there is spots that you can dive from. At night, there is a free light show at the convent at 9:15 every day in English, except for Wednesdays, and that will tell you all about the history of Valladolid. Surrounding Valladolid, there are many other cenotes. We visited a cenote called Cenote Oshman, which was $7.35 to enter, and we visited that place because it had a rope swing and also these amazing tree roots that would dangle down from the ground into the cenote. There are two other cenotes within the same complex called Cenote Eshkeken and Cenote Samula. You can either pay $4 to just visit one of them or pay around $6 for both, which I definitely recommend. And these cenotes are very different to the previous ones because they are more enclosed, kind of like a cave. Another great reason to visit Valladolid is that it is really close to Chichen Itza, Mexico's wonder of the world. From Valladolid, we got a Colectivo shared van for around $2. The entry fee for Chichen Itza is around $25, and you can easily spend around 2.5 hours to 3 hours there. It's not just the main pyramid that you see in the pictures. There are many other ruins and even cenotes within the complex, and you'll definitely be able to see why it's one of the wonders of the world. The last and probably our favorite town is Bacalar, which is 2 hours south of Tulum and very close to the border of Belize. Bacalar is an amazing place to visit because it has a super beautiful lagoon. It's not on the coast and it doesn't have any beaches, but the lagoon is basically the same color water that you'd find on the coast in the Riviera Maya. We stayed at an Airbnb guest house for $29 a night, and to get around we rented a bicycle, which was $7.20 for the day. Our first stop was Cenote Azul, which is a huge cenote, and that was $1.25. This one was also surrounded by plants and trees, and they also have a restaurant that would be a nice spot to eat at overlooking the cenote. Nearby is a place called Cocalitos, which is $1.75 to enter, and it also gives you swimming access to the lagoon. This place is a stromatolite protection area, which is a kind of live bacteria that you're not allowed to touch or stand on as they're trying to preserve it. and it has some swings, hammocks and sunbeds to relax at, and a restaurant too. To see the lagoon properly, you're going to need to do a boat tour. You can do a shared motorboat tour for around $15, or there are other private options like a sailboat, which is a more eco-friendly option, for around $140. The price might change depending on the amount of people and what they are going to offer you during the tour.
Ciao.
Now on to the food. So this is obviously going to depend on the kind of places that you eat at, if you go to fancy restaurants or local places, but the majority of the time we ate at local places, and there we could usually eat for around $3 to $4 per person, and soft drinks would be less than $1 and a beer would just be around $1. There are many Mexican street food places. For example, we ate tamales once and that cost around $1.50 and that filled us up. And we've eaten at the Mexican sweet stalls, things like marquesitas for around $3 to $4 for a big marquesita. Even in tourist places, we could usually find some meals for around $6 to $10, but the menu did have things up to around $20. Obviously, really fancy restaurants, let's say at a beach, you're probably gonna spend way more than $20 per person on a meal. Alcoholic drinks at a lot of the beach clubs in Tulum will cost you over $10 for something like a mojito and $4 to $5 for a beer. For the SIM card, we used a Mexican company called Telcel, and we got the biggest plan, which was $24 for unlimited data when using social media, text and calls, and it also included 6 gigabytes of data, but there are other cheaper plans available. Since this region is a huge touristic destination, the language barrier isn't a big problem. The majority of the restaurants and hotels, the people will speak enough English to provide their service at least, but you might encounter some Mexicans that speak very little English, so if you know a few words in Spanish, it will help you a lot. If you're planning to film like us, keep in mind that all the ruins are no drone zones and they will check your bags, so don't take any drones to the ruins. They might also charge you if you have any professional looking cameras at the ruins. And even when entering Mexico, it can be a problem. I've seen that other creators have had to pay tax on their camera gear or drones when entering. Apparently Mexico has a law that you can only bring 1 camera per person, so they might charge you tax on any other cameras. Hopefully you found this video useful if you're planning a trip to this region. It is an absolutely incredible place. You have the mixtures of cenotes, beaches, islands, lagoons, ruins, food, amazing people, all in one place. At the end of the video, I will link a playlist that features all these different places that were mentioned in the video, but in more detail. They're daily vlogs, so yeah, you'll be able to get a lot more information about each place. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like to support us, subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this, follow us on Instagram, and we'll see you around.